Well, hi all, welcome to Fly Fishing with Krazza again. Today I'm going to cover the vest. The vest is a pretty important part of your fishing outfit. I call it like my mobile toolbox. I'm an ex-tradie, so obviously I had a toolbox that I went and did and serviced various factory machinery. So this is pretty much like your mobile toolbox. If you're like a office person, I suppose it's like your desk. You can open a drawer, grab your pencils, grab your staplers and whatever. So yeah, it's equipment you can have out on the river or in the lake, and it just allows you to like swap flies. Like you can carry all your flies in your pockets. You've got nippers to trim your line, items to dry your flies. There's just an array of things that you have. You know, your scissors, you've got these to remove hooks if you have to. You know, it's just in your drying powder for your it's like a floatant, and I'll go into detail with what I carry on my vest, just so that beginners can get an idea of what you need when you go fly fishing, so that you can set yourself up. What I'll go through today is what I carry in my vest, where I locate it on my vest, and why I have it on my vest, because obviously there are reasons why I carry these things on the vest. So I'll just try and explain that the best I can. I mean, I like the vest. A lot of people like to have like a little box with everything hanging off the box. I've tried something similar to that. It just didn't work for me, so I just use the vest. I just like the vest. I've actually got a spare vest like this one, so that when this one is done and dusted, I've had this for 7 years, I'll have another one to replace it, because I just like to know where everything is. So if I got a different vest, I'd probably have to scratch my head where my items are. So I've got a place for everything, and it's just user friendly for me. So what I'll do, I'll just go over that. I hope it helps beginners to learn how to set up their vest, or even their little toolbox if they choose to carry that. It's just an item that you sort of need when you go fly fishing. I also have a separate vest for when I go saltwater fly fishing. I don't like to mix my flies, so otherwise I'll be carrying too many, or I have to take things out of these pockets and put the saltwater stuff in it. So I've got a whole separate vest for my saltwater fly fishing. It's set up very similar, but it's just a good thing to keep them both separate. I just thought I'd mention that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the right hand side of the vest. It'll just explain that side, and then I'll go to the other side after I've finished explaining the right hand side. So you'll probably see that I've got an F on that pocket. The F stands for floating. So that's all my floating style type equipment, and on this side is my sinking side. So I've got my dry flies here, and my nymphs and Euro nymphing items on this side. So I'll start with the floating side. So yeah, in this pocket here, all I've got is I've just got like some little bags, and what I do, I just cover the hooks when I'm traveling with it in the car. There's just little resealable bags. I just put them over the line where the hooks are, just to stop things getting hooked onto the interior or onto anything that I've got in the car while I'm traveling. So that's what I've got in that little pouch there. The other side here, I've got floatant. So what this floatant does, if you can see that, it's just a floatant that I rub onto my indicators before I go fishing, or I can use that on my flies if I'm using a dry fly. So that's what I've got in those two little pouches at the front. Then I'll go to the first zip. In the first zip, I've got all my dry flies. So I've got a couple of little fly boxes, well, probably 3 in there. I tend to carry them with me all the time. Sometimes I'll bump into someone along the river or in a lake and they'll say, you know, this particular fly is working for them. And I just have like a collection of different flies so that I can choose to tie them onto my line. So in that first pocket, I'll just keep those fly boxes, and I'll just zip that up. So that's what I've got on that floating side as well. And then I've got a second zipper at the front here, and what I keep in here is all my, it's like a leader pouch, and I've just got some made up tippet with some flies already on them, so that if I get snagged up and I lose my flies, or the line gets broken off, I don't have to rebuild a whole line. I can just go into this pouch and I've got like flies already attached to them. I've got some lake stuff. I write what the tippet size is, so I know that one's a 2X. It's got a Shrek on it, so that'll be for a lake pretty much. And then I've got some dry flies set up, and then I've got some Euro nymphing setups. The Euro nymphing ones are probably the ones that I go through the most, because the rivers that I fish, like the Rubicon, you get a lot of snags, so it's nice to have that ready to go. So that's like a leader pouch or a tippet pouch, and that stays in that pocket. Then going up, I've got this pocket here, and what I've got there is my dry floatant. So I'll put the wet floatant on the first time, and I find that once it starts to sink, if I put the wet floatant on, it doesn't really work that well. So I use the dry floatant after that. I mean, this one's called High and Dry. It's in like a white and green bottle. So yeah, you open it, you put your fly in there with your line, you close it, give it a shake, and it dries your fly, and then just give it a blow off, and you'll get another probably 10 casts before you've got to do it again. So it's a good thing to have. So I've got that in that pocket. So yeah, in this pocket I've got the scissors. So if I need to, you know, cut my indicator, that New Zealand style indicator, I'll use the scissors. And also I've got this pair of forceps. So it doesn't happen too often with fly fishing, I've noticed. When you bait fish, you need these forceps perhaps to unhook the fish. If it's swallowed it quite deeply, these forceps come handy for that kind of thing. I've also got it all on a retractable lanyard, so that way I can use it when I'm on the water. I don't have to like unclip it, and that way it just goes back straight into the pocket and zip it up, and it's available for me to use whenever I'm ready to use it. So yeah, so that's the forceps and scissors in that pocket, and the dry powdered floatant. I've got like a little pouch or a little velcroed pocket here, and all I've got in there is, it's called mucilin, and I use that, I rub that on my line if I want the line to float as well as the fly. You can use that on the fly, I tend not to, I just rub that on the line. It's been out for years, it was one of the first things I bought, but there are better products, but I still use it from time to time. Also on the right hand side I've got like a little tab here, and then I've got it's called a tippet holder, and you just pull that and you can take your tippets off or whatever, but it's good on the river. When you break off, you can start, you know, pulling line off. It stays there, it's with you. It's, you know, like I said, it's like your toolbox. You've got that there, it's like your set of spanners. You've got your set of tippet, you know, like at 2X, 3X down to 5X. I don't usually fish less than 5X. So yeah, they're all my tippet. That's my tippet holder. So that's that. Now on the inside, I've also got another pocket on the inside. So inside here, I've got my tippet rings. So I've just got a packet of tippet rings, and I know that they're there when I need them. So I just keep my tippet rings in there. So when I'm making a line and I need tippet rings, they're there. I've covered tippet rings and leaders in an earlier video for beginners, so if you want to know why I use tippet rings, yeah, just go back and have a look at that video. And then I've got two spare pockets. I've got this pocket here and another small pocket there. I mean, you just really can't have enough pockets. So I've got those two pockets plus this one here where those bags were at the beginning. I can always use that for something else. So yeah, you want to get as many pockets as you can. It just helps you get used to where everything is. So that's pretty much the right hand side covered. Okay, so now I'll cover the left side. So obviously the left side's marked S for sinking. So like I said earlier, it's for mainly for my nymphs and streamers. So that way I know that anything that I need for anything that sinks is in that side or on that side of my vest. So in the little pockets at the front, I've got like a similar to the floatant, but it's actually like a sinking type solution, and you can rub that on your fly and it'll help it sink. You can also put it on your tippet and it'll help your tippet sink as well. So I keep that in one of those little pouches. I've also got split shot. So if I'm finding that the river's running fast and I need to get my flies down quicker, I'll put some split shot on my tippet. I usually put it like about 6 inches above the fly, 150 millimeters or 15 centimeters above the fly, and that weight will get that fly down quicker and be in the zone where the fish are down at the bottom of the river. I've also put them onto my streamers on a fast river to get the fly down as I'm stripping the line back with the streamer. And I actually caught my first ever stonker with a streamer and one of these split shot on it as well. So yeah, that's where I keep my split shot, in that little pouch there. Then the same as the other side, on this side where the first zippered pocket is, I have my wet flies. So I've got various flies. Like when I first started to tie flies, I've got these mop flies. I was cutting up my wife's mops and feather duster things and making flies out of them. To be honest, I've never caught a fish on them, but I still carry them with me. I've got other flies, my squirmies are there, and there are my streamers, my various damsel flies and that. So all that are in the sinking pocket. So yeah, so that's that pocket there. And then in this other zip pocket, I carry my Euro nymphing flies. So I'll carry the nymphs that I tie, a selection of squirmy wormies as well. So that's where I keep my Euro nymphing flies, in that pocket. Now in the next pocket, I'll have my New Zealand indicator kit. So yeah, that's the kit to attach your yarn to your fly line. It comes with like this little gadget that the kit comes with. I've just put it in this little box just so that I've got it there. So that's that kit. I've also got some spare tippet in here. It's just like a backup thing. It has saved me a few times, like you forget to check where your tippet's at and you go, oh, I've run out, and then I know I've got that. So it's just like a backup thing, like the little plastic or the rubber retainers that retain your yarn to your line. That's where I keep them. So that's that pocket covered. Also on the left hand side, I've got my nippers. I have to say this would have to be the tool I use most on the lake or on the river. I'm forever like changing flies. After you've tied your fly, it nips off the tag end. It's a great tool. I mean, this is a cheap one. You can get expensive ones. I think this one was like $7, and I've also got that on a retractable lanyard, so that, you know, when I'm tying, I can just pull it and snip my line and it goes straight back. I've also got this cork type dryer, so when your flies get wet, you can't just put them straight into the dry fly powder, or the powder that dries your flies. I like to dry them a bit first. You can get various cloths as well that will dry them before you put them into that powdered dryer. So I've just got this cork thing. I've bought that years ago. I've also got like this patch. It's just, I just sewed on some Velcro, and I just Velcro it on, and you can hold your, that's like a woolly bugger, and you can put your flies on there, and what that does, that'll dry them so that before you get to your car on your way home, you can just put them away. So I've just put that on there. Now on the inside of the left hand side, I've got my, and there's another pocket, of course, full of pockets. I've got my Euro nymphing indicator line. Yeah, I've got two grades of it. I've got this one's £7 and that one's £13. So yeah, I use both of them, and in between them I'll run some clear tippet, so I can see where what depth I'm fishing at along the river, and I can follow where those joins are, how deep I'm going with my fly along the river. I'll go into Euro nymphing with one of my videos in the future, but yeah, that's where I keep my coloured indicator line for Euro nymphing, in there. Alright, so now we'll go to the back of the vest. So at the back I've got my net. I've got like a magnetic net attachment. It's really handy, so you'll probably see when I catch a fish, I just put the net up behind my back, and it kind of finds itself to it, and then it just attaches. So a really good gadget. So you can see how that just attaches. And what else is really important is that you have a line going to your net. I've just got like some elastic line there, because I've had a few mates that have had this attachment without this, and as you walk along, your net will get stuck onto like a blackberry or a branch, and your net will drop, and then they've had to go all the way back around the lake. It happened in Tasmania. They had to go all the way back around the lake to find their net, and lucky enough they found it. So if it falls off, you start dragging along the ground, and you know, it tells you, oh gee, my net's come off. So it's a great thing. You've got to have some line going to the net, and also it's a good thing, like if you've got your net in the water while you're landing a fish, you know, you don't have to reach at the back. It's in front of you. You just pick it up off the water, and it's not going to float away while the current's going past. So yeah, I really like this gadget. It's really good. Also at the back I've got like a pocket in there, and what I do, I've got like a bag. So if I catch any fish and I want to take them home, I usually use this for redfin when I catch redfin, and I'll just put them in here, and I'll just tie it to my belt, and I'll just have the redfin hanging off the side of me. That way I don't have to get out of the lake or the river to recast again. It's just something that I've sort of picked up. And sometimes I keep like a sun hat in there as well. It's a pretty big pocket. I know some people put their drinks in there, but I find it digs into your back, but you can do that. So yeah, that's pretty much covering the fly fishing vest. I think I've covered the lot. I mean, that's what I carry when I go fly fishing. I hope it helps you out. Let me know what I can improve on, what works for you. You know, what extra instruments and tools do you guys use out there? Leave that in the comments. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I haven't done a video for beginners for quite a while, so this is, I think, episode 7. I thought I'd cover the vest. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video and it's helped you, just subscribe. That helps my channel. Like it, and like I said, leave some comments. So yeah, once again, thanks for watching and God bless. Bye.